Sign number 2, rumors of war in the Middle East. If the Middle East were totally quiet and peaceful, we might wonder, how in the world are these prophecies ever going to be fulfilled? There are dozens of them in the Bible. Zechariah 12. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling. Nobody can hold on to it without spilling it. Unto all the people round about, when they shall be in siege both against Judah and Jerusalem, and in that day. Now, when the prophet says that day, he always means that future day. If he's saying in this day, it's right now. But in that day, in the future. Zechariah, living in about 500 BC, is looking down through the corridor of time at least 2,500 years and saying, in that day I will make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people, and all who burden themselves with it will be cut to pieces, though all the people on earth be gathered against it.
If you just joined me, you're listening to Understanding the Times Radio. I'm Jan Markell, and we're playing a message from my conference a couple of weekends ago. Dr. Ed Heinzen, he's host of the King is Coming television program. He's a professor at Liberty University, and he gave 2 messages at our conference. This one, Signs of the Times, How the Stage is Being Set.
Every major end-time war in the Bible, the Battle of Gog and Magog, the Battle of Armageddon, all of them are geographically centered where? In the Middle East. God sees the future in advance because prophecy is history written in advance. It's not written, as Jack said, quoting me, it's not written to scare us, it's written to prepare us. It's not written to frighten us, it's written to invite us to come to Christ while there's hope, while there's time. And the prophecies will literally be fulfilled one day. Now, what we don't know is when. I can't tell you if we have 5 more minutes, 5 years, 50 years, but I can tell you this much, I don't think we have 500 years. Now, all of us that are over 50, if you're over 50, raise your hand, if you can still get it up. All right, lots of people. It went by real what? Fast. Real fast. Yeah, when you're 20 years old, 30 years sounds like forever. When you're 50, it was like, whoa, where did that go? So I don't know how much time is left. God, in His grace, is still giving the church the opportunity to take the gospel to the world. There are more people getting saved every day in China than there are in America. There are people coming to Christ in Latin America. Why do you think the Pope went there? Trying to stop all of that. All those conversions that are going on in Brazil. The gospel is still spreading around the world as Jesus said it would. That I will build my church and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. I remind us, you don't attack with gates, you defend with gates. He pictures the church on the offensive and Satan on the defensive. Satan's desperately trying to hold on to his kingdom. And the power of the gospel snatches people out from the gates of hell, so to speak, into the family of God. That challenge to proclaim the gospel with confidence and authority that Pastor Corey will talk to us about this afternoon is still the challenge for this generation. Those of us that are older cannot just sit back and rest on the laurels of the past. First time I ever came to Minneapolis in about 1977 or 78, there was a huge issue going on here on a gay rights referendum. And Jerry Falwell and Anita Bryant were supposed to be here in this huge rally. There were 10,000 people at the rally, but there were 2,000 demonstrators in the street. And I get a phone call that afternoon saying, Jerry's still in Israel with Menachem Begin. He's not making it back in time to catch the flight to Minneapolis. You're going. Thanks. You're the MC. You're going to take his place. And I remember we arrived here under police escort, taken to some downtown hotel, 2,000 demonstrators down in the street below, screaming and yelling. And I realized this is serious business. But there were 10,000 people in that arena cheering on God. Now, I had a guy say to me cynically recently, well, all that effort that Jerry put forth, it's all gone to waste. Look what's happening now. No, it saved his generation. It held it back for 30 years. So what are we doing in this generation to hold it back? sitting around griping and complaining about things like a bunch of grouchy old men and women. No, we've got to make the difference if it means sticking your faith on the line. You don't have to be obnoxious about it, but you have to be clear about it. God is not anti-Arab. Just because there's a crisis in the Middle East doesn't mean God hates the Arab people. He does not. You say, how do you know that? In the book of Genesis, twice Ishmael, the father of the Arabs, is at what? The point of death. When his mother runs away, pregnant with him in the desert, and she's about to die, the Lord himself, the angel of the Lord, Christ himself, comes and spares their lives and tells her to go back. Later, when he's an older teenager, and they leave after the birth of Isaac, they're in the desert again, and he's about to die again, and again, God spares his life. Twice, God saved Ishmael's life. God, who sees the future, could have solved the Arab-Israeli conflict 4,000 years ago and let him die in the desert. But he didn't. God said, I will bless him. I will make of him a great nation and great people. You say, yeah, but it says he'll be a wild donkey, etc. You ask Arabs, they thought, I'd rather be a wild donkey running across the desert than one chained up to a post. God is not anti-Arab. Islam is a religion. Arab is an ethnicity. And God is reaching the ethnos of the world, the ethnic groups. There are people coming to Christ by the thousands in the Arab world today. Not all Muslims are Arabs, and not all Arabs are Muslims. Indonesians are Muslims. They're Asian. Persians in Iran are Muslims. They're not Arabs. Turks technically are not Arabs. In fact, there's more of the Muslim world east of the Euphrates than there is west of the Euphrates. And yet God still has a heart for those people, and we need to have a heart for them. We need to be praying, first of all, for Christians who are caught behind the Islamic curtain, who desperately need protection and safety.